Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some r/mad butthole, crossed with some relationships and updates and all that other good stuff as well. Just a huge thank you for spending your time with me today. As always, your membership, subscribes, likes, everything you do is absolutely amazing. Never forget that, and let's crack on with today's first story. Now, today's first story comes from Mean B-Day Mum 2323 and now follows with an update titled, "Am I the arsehole for cancelling my daughter's birthday and making her call her classmates to explain why?" Here is the situation. My daughter Abby, just turned 11, was supposed to have a birthday party last month with the girls in her class. She's autistic and has ADHD. That we haven't found the right treatment for, so she struggles to make friends, and this would have been the first non-family party she has had. In the last few months, Abby went to 2 other birthday parties where the whole class was invited, which is why she asked to have a larger friend party this year in our backyard. Unfortunately, because of the timing, Taylor, her best friend, wouldn't be able to make it because her family was out of town. The day before the party, I was letting Abby use my phone to give her classmates the time and location information, and I overheard this exchange. Other girls said, "Is Taylor going to be there?" Abby said no, she's lame and can't come. I sternly told Abby to hang up and explain herself. She tried to tell me that she wasn't serious, but I thought it was incredibly mean to call her only friend lame and felt like she was behaving horribly. She insisted that it was just a joke and wouldn't agree when I told her that Taylor would be heartbroken if she heard Abby call her lame. I felt that she didn't deserve to have a party if she couldn't cherish her friend, and decided to teach her a lesson. I made her call all 12 girls that were invited, including the ones she already called, to tell the information and explain to them there wasn't going to be a party after all, because she was being punished for saying something rude about Taylor. She was appropriately embarrassed and cried a lot, and I think definitely learned her lesson. So I felt like this was done and dusted, but Taylor came over last weekend for a sleepover, and I talked to her mum for a bit at drop-off. She told me she heard about what happened because the other parents had been discussing my punishment and thought it was too harsh, and insinuated I should go easier on Abby because she was a sweet and sensitive kid. I wasn't expecting this, so I brushed it off until she left, but got annoyed that other parents are judging me for my actions when my kid did something that was not sweet or sensitive. When Taylor's mother returned to pick her daughter up, she laid it on thick how much Taylor liked Abby and how she was glad they were friends, and I said, yep, and now Abby knows to treat her friends well and not take them for granted. It got awkward when Taylor's mum kept gushing about Abby and low-key implying that she didn't deserve to be punished, and I snapped back. Well, I guess you and everyone else knows how to parent better than I do. I am still seething over this and want to know if my actions with Abby and with Taylor's mum were warranted, because I feel like everyone else is taking crazy pills. And we have the edit and then a following update which we'll cover after the comments. Now, I think you're definitely going to be the arsehole in this situation. I don't think your daughter meant it as an insult to her best friend. As was said in this story that, they're very close friends, so I don't think your daughter would do this to hurt her. It was just like an off-the-cuff thing, as some youngsters may say. You could have turned around to her and say, "Why did you say that about your best friend?" and find out the reason why, and find out if it was, she was being nasty about her or anything. I doubt that it was, because as one of the parents has told you, they have a real good relationship together. But another sad thing is that you explain that your daughter already has trouble making friends, and you're not helping in this situation with what you've done right here. But Coat Sweaty 8264 says you're the arsehole, major one too, like massive. Your daughter is already struggling to fit into social situations, and her neurological disorders could be the cause of why she thinks such raw humor is acceptable. And beside the fact you think it's inappropriate to joke like that, have you ever considered that Abby was in fact being honest and saying that light-hearted insults is the way it is between her and Taylor? You jumped onto a conclusion that is based around your comfort and boundaries with jokes. And how is that punishment relevant to what you assume to be hurtful? Yeah, I cancelled my socially struggling daughter's first real party because I took offense on someone's behalf that wasn't even there. I truly have to say, this is the second time I've read something so obviously a-hole-like of OP, on this sub, and I am sitting here writing this with absolute disgust on how some people will lie to you by saying that you're not the a-hole. You humiliated your daughter, ruined her first experience being seen by everyone, and probably ruined the trust she had left in you. Just please take one look outside of your own perspective. You were so cruel. Even parents outside of your family had to jump into defense for your own daughter. I hope you read this whole thing twice as well. Edit. I just want to say I'm very grateful to people on the same page as me. I truly was worried that people would defend such cruelty. It's a good day to see some humanity in this world. Super Fast Mama says, you're the arsehole. Do you have zero knowledge of kids this age? They call each other weird names. Lame. Nope. No one would bat an eye. You miss someone's birthday party, they will kiddingly use this terminology. You went so far past the line, it's unbelievable. Fabulous Auntie says, you're the arsehole. That's a pretty standard thing for kids to say. And taking away her birthday celebration and embarrassing her in front of her peers is not good parenting, even if she was rude. Don't think she was. Did your punishment succeed in teaching her about social interactions, or did it teach her to just make sure you can't hear her conversations? You taught her that someone else's perception of other people's feelings were more important than her friendships. Samuel 13 says, you're the arsehole. That's such a ridiculous overreaction. You went immediately to the nuclear option when a simple discussion about unkindness and I don't want you to talk like that would have been sufficient. My daughter has trouble making friends, so I humiliated her and cruelly cancelled a friend event to teach her a lesson about not being unkind to other people. What the fuck? Mr. Nathan Pride says, here's what a sensible parent would do. Hey Abby, don't call your friend lame. She replies, okay mum. She deserves a gentle nudge. You knocked her across the room. You're the arsehole. Expathogink says, I don't usually comment on Am I the Arsehole post, but this one angered me so much. You're the arsehole so much. I make fun of my friends as a joke. So many kids and younger people nowadays do. It's a completely normal thing. Maybe you misunderstood because some of her tone of voice as she's autistic, but if she's already struggles with friendships, you're so shit for doing that to her. And I genuinely pray this is fake somehow. You embarrassed her and cancelled her birthday for such a light-hearted comment. You're the arsehole. So now we're going to start with the edit, then we're going to move on to the update straight away. So edit says, I've said in multiple DMs, but I will say it here as well, that I was wrong and I'm disgusted with myself. I will clear up that Abby does go to weekly therapy, but we haven't seen a psychologist or done family therapy since she was 8. I was also suspected of having ADD as a child, but my parents didn't do much to investigate after one type of medication failed to help, so I don't think about it that much and don't know if that's relevant. I sat with Abby after supper and apologised for my actions and enforced that she is a good kid and a great friend to Taylor. She started tearing up and told me that she was hurt that the other girl asked about Taylor because apparently some kids had said they wouldn't go since Taylor wasn't. Abby felt guilty because while she was just joking about Taylor being lame, she was hurt that they liked Taylor and not her. I hadn't even considered this and I'm heartbroken for her that I kicked her when she was down. She is a sweet and sensitive girl, and I'm very lucky she forgave me. I will be looking into family therapy and connecting with a school to fix this, and told Abby she has a week to decide how and with who she wanted to celebrate a belated birthday. Thanks to everyone who advocated for my daughter when I failed her. So the update said, I won't put this on Am I the Arsehole because I'm sure it doesn't fit the update requirements, but I'm still getting messages and people reaching out over this post. Some quite violently, others just hurt and lashing out, which I understand. Hopefully this gives more light to the situation and gives you all the conclusion you are looking for. When I posted this, I did not expect for it to get more than 50 comments, so when it did, I was blown away and honestly overwhelmed. Some people called this story out for being fake, and the funny thing is, it kind of was and wasn't. I'm Abby, fake name, not Abby's mum. And the day I posted this story, I'd been thinking about some not so cool experiences from my childhood and was kind of ruminating on this one. This was maybe the second time I remember being traumatized by my mum, but the first one I remember all the details clearly. I was pretty sure she fucked up doing this, but all parents fuck up their kids sometimes, right? And I had said something mean about my friend, though I don't remember if it was Taylor sucked or was lame, so from her perspective, I deserved to be punished. The way I typed the story was exactly what happened, right down to her making me call every girl in my class. I still remember the script I had to read. "Hi, name. I'm calling you to tell you I'm not allowed to have a birthday party because I said something mean about a friend. Sorry, bye." And after every call, I put my head on the table and wept, full snot rockets and everything, while my mum typed the next number into the phone and put it in my hand. It has been over 10 years, to keep timing vague, and I still hate my birthday and have never had a successful friend party. I do have friends, I just can't do parties, lol. The only part of the public story that wasn't true was the updates. The catharsis I felt through people agreeing with me was great, but everyone saying schedule her another party or apologize to her right now made me a little sad because my mum literally never brought it up again. So I tried to get some sense of peace from the whole ordeal by pretending she did the right thing, and it honestly worked in the sense that I can't think of that day without crying. So anyways, I posted the story seeking validation, or therapy, or at least trying to gain perspective from her side, and I'm sorry to have misled the 1.6 million people who saw this post, and the people who read it on Facebook and Instagram. I think I was floored by the amount of people who understood me, a weird little girl they had never met, more than my own mother ever did. You understood that I was mirroring my peers, having a really hard time making friends, and hurt that no matter how hard I tried, people just didn't like me. I cried so many times writing the original post and answering comments as Abby's mum, parroting things said back then or things I've heard her say now when she remembers my childhood. She was twisted and abusive, no matter how much she claimed she was trying to help me. And a special sorry to the people who messaged me with their long personal stories or advice. I was really moved that you would share something so raw in an attempt to get some ignorant mum to understand. I was so grateful that there were professionals out there willing to put aside time to help kids they had never met. I tried to answer so you wouldn't feel like your effort was wasted, but I felt and feel horrible about lying, and it was resting heavy on my heart. Damn my autistic need to abide to the rules. Anyways, lots of people messaged worried about Abby's well-being, so I wanted to say, I'm doing fine. I did move out of my parents' house as soon as I could, went to university and graduated with a degree in something I love. I am finally medicated for ADHD, and I'm engaged to the kindest, most understanding man who is fiercely protective of me when it comes to my mum. I still need therapy, but I promise I'm working on it, and my next attempt will not involve lying on the internet because holy shit, did this get out of control. And I gotta say, I wasn't expecting that twist that, OP was the one that went through all this all the time and they was posting it from their mum's perspective. And I'm trying to go back to the original story and reading it from Abby's perspective, trying to get in her mum's shoes to explain how she was feeling at the time and how she was treated. It's a real different perspective on one of these stories, and it's the first time I've ever seen that. But before we move on, if you don't mind, I just wanted to see some of the reactions on Reddit to that twist myself, because, I found that one quite intriguing. But Moon96Moon says, wow, that's a plot twist I didn't see coming. It's good to see Abby getting the validation she deserves and knowing she's doing better. Mums like her don't care if they're helping their kids, they just want to be right. Smo says, damn, fuck OP's mum. I didn't have kids and even I could see that. One, OP was trying to appear cool and was just joking, like grown-ass adults do. 2, as much as OP was trying to appear to be a mum and I bought it, anyone can read between the lines why the kids wanted to know if Taylor was going to be there. 3, that shit is borderline abuse. Also kudos to Taylor's mum for standing up for OP. Rude Abbreviations 47 says, my heart breaks a lot reading it. A very dear person in my life is starting to understand, after 2 years in therapy, the hurt a very narcissistic parent can make. It's sad. And one more from Snoo Recipes 4570 who says, this is heartbreaking. OP's mum lacks compassion and understanding. OP was hurt and just said something stupid, but it could have been a joke for all her mum knew. My cousins and I are all adults. We'll boo each other for not being able to attend an event. You're going to the Bahamas instead of going bowling. Boo, so lame. It's a loving joke. Now I turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this one? Are you shocked about that different sort of ending? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and let's move on to another story. This story comes from SouthernBird2951, who says, am I the arsehole for forbidding my brother bringing his girlfriend in our family events because my husband doesn't like it? My husband is an extremely religious and traditional guy, and he's not a fan of couples introducing each other to family unless they're ready to get married. He only met my family for the first time after our engagement, and that's when I met his as well. I didn't grow up like this, but it's truly something that does not bother me at all, or else I wouldn't have married him. My brother used to date a different girl every month for 2 years straight. My husband didn't mind about my brother's dating life, but he flipped out if anyone even thought of allowing my brother to let any of his flings visit family gatherings. My brother wasn't planning to, but he got mad over how heated my husband was over this and told me over and over on who he chooses to bring over to family events is none of my husband's business. For the past 1.5 years, my brother has been dating this girl and they're pretty serious. I've met her, so has my husband. She seems like a very nice and sweet person. They've also expressed how they may get engaged soon. The drama had started during Christmas holidays. My husband and I told my parents that if they host Christmas in their house, they better notify my brother that his girlfriend is not invited. My parents were mad we requested that, called us unreasonable but ended up following through. My brother wasn't too pleased and he was mad on Christmas Day that we didn't include his girlfriend. I reminded him that once they make it official, she will be allowed to come and it's not personal against her. He was still mad and he said this is the last time this is happening. Last weekend was my mum's birthday, and due to the fact she spent her birthday alone with my dad for 2 years straight, she wanted to do something special this year and host a nice party. Before the party, my husband reminded my mum of the no girlfriend rule. My mum flipped out at him and so did my dad, and they told us we're being extreme with this and they have no right to dictate who enters their house in family events and that my brother's girlfriend will tag along whenever she wants, whether we like it or not. My brother ended up coming to the party with his girlfriend and acted like a champion for defeating my husband on this one. My husband was mad the entire night and wouldn't speak to a soul. Before we left, he only told my brother he must feel proud for acting like a word I can't say on YouTube, but an extreme swear word. My entire family who was invited at my mum's party was calling us the arsehole for having this rule in the first place. And to clear up that word, that was there are some swear words I can get away with on YouTube for the most part, but if I say others, I'm in trouble. Now, I think this is going to be a pretty clear you're the arsehole on this one, simply because, they're hosting the party. They can invite who the bloody hell they like, and you have no say in that. You can turn up or not. That's on you. But Tiny European says you're the arsehole. Who the hell does your husband think he is to dictate who can or cannot come to a gathering that has nothing to do with him and he is not even hosting? If you had a small and intimate dinner party at your own house, sure, the guest list might be more restricted, but this is a party for your mum in her house, and she has expressed that she wants the girlfriend to be there. It's none of your husband's or yours business who your brother brings along. If your husband doesn't like it, he can stay home. Crunchy Cookie 51 says, and quotes, I reminded him that once they make it official, she'll be allowed to come, then goes on to say, my word, who do you and your husband think you are? Of course you're the arsehole, both of you. If something offends your husband, he should be the one staying away, not dictating who can and can't go to family gatherings. And your husband has the absolute nerve to call your brother the C word. What the actual fuck? If I were a member of your family, I would stop inviting you and your husband to any party regardless of who else was going. London Housewife says you're the arsehole. You choose who you invite if you're the host, but if you're not the host, then it's not up to you. And you should be polite to all the other guests, whether you approve or not. But Rosa says, and quotes, my brother told me over and over who he chooses to bring over to family events is none of my husband's business. Then goes on to say, that's exactly right. When you and your husband host things, you can decide who to invite, but he has the audacity of believing you have any business setting the rules when your guest puts both of you firmly as assholes. You're not comfortable meeting her. Don't go. You're the arsehole. OK Raspberry says, you're the arsehole, you don't dictate who hosts the invite to events. If you have a problem with other guests, you decline the invitation. If you and your husband host family, you can say your brother's girlfriend isn't invited. Now, I turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this one? And what would you say to that man? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for spending 20 to 30 minutes with me today. Getting involved in the stories, your love, support, and time means the absolute world to me. And I just want you to know that. Thank you so much for being you. You're absolutely amazing. Never forget that. And I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love.
Wake up, get up, stretch my legs, eat some breakfast, milk and eggs, brush my teeth up, wash my face, throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, I can smell the smoke from the bacon. Let's go, see the sun shining from the windows. Okay, I know that today